VR gaming is incredible on its own, but when you add co-op into the mix, it takes it to the next level. Whether you're surviving against hordes of undead, exploring alien worlds, or dungeon crawling, there is a ton of VR co-op experiences for everyone. Before we dive into the video, I'll ask you one simple favour. Take 2 seconds to smash that like button, subscribe if you are new, because it helps this channel hit that 100k subscriber mark that we're trying to hit in 2025, and of course it helps these videos just get seen by more people. Now let's dive into the very first game on this list, After the Fall. Now this is one of my all-time personal favourite games I've ever played multiplayer in VR, because simply I have just put the most hours into this game. I think around 215 across both Quest, PSVR 2 and PCVR. In After the Fall, you can play with up to 4 people in this co-op shooter where you take on hordes of frozen undead called the Snowbreed. Think Left 4 Dead, but in VR, with a huge arsenal of weapons and upgrades available on Quest, PSVR 2 and PCVR. This is a must for co-op fans. There is a ton of different levels in this, a ton of different customization that you can unlock from doing this. Like, the grind is real in this game. If you're a real grinder, you'll enjoy what you get up to in this, because you'll unlock a ton of skins. Every time you go into a new level, you're going to be grinding away, getting the new cool things to unlock, including outfits, skins and weaponry. This is truly one of those absolute no-brainers. If you've not played this before, I highly recommend you get a couple of people together. Even if it's just 2 of you going into this game, you're still going to have an absolute blast, because the AI is pretty decent when it comes to squadding up with you. Next up, we have Into the Black. Now this is one of those games that came out quite recently, but I feel like it just got completely overlooked. Also, there is an incredible co-op mode inside of this game as well that you really need to give a go, because when you get in there with a couple of people, it really changes up this game and it delivers in an entirely different way. Into the Black is an atmospheric co-op survival game where you and up to 4 friends can get in to an alien world, mine resources, battle terrifying creatures in the dark. The game offers a deep crafting system with immersive exploration and a unique PvPvE mode called Singularity, where up to 12 players can fight for survival in this ever-shrinking map. It's exclusive to Quest, but runs beautifully on Quest 3, definitely one you need to give a go. Next up, we have Ghost of Tabor, and I feel like everyone's probably heard of this game, but nonetheless it has to make it on this list, because for me, when you team up with a buddy is when the real fun in this game begins. It can be quite tedious to go into Ghost of Tabor on your own and just get destroyed over and over again, which leads to that experience of like, I can't be bothered to go back into it. But when you do it with a buddy, it just feels that little bit more satisfying, plus you can cooperate together and actually take down some people in some smart and fun ways. At its heart, this is a tactical survival shooter, and it's kind of like Escape from Tarkov but in virtual reality. You'll scavenge, fight and extract to loot the highest stake battles that you can possibly go into this for. The co-op mechanics really add that teamwork, which is, like I said, essential towards a good experience in this game. Currently this game is available on both Quest and PCVR, and it's coming to PSVR 2 later this year. They are working on making this great when it gets to PSVR 2, which is I think why it's taken so long to come over to that platform, but I think when it does, it's going to be a hard hitter. Next up, we have Legendary Tales. Now, if you like your RPGs, this one is going to be for you. For fans of medieval RPGs, Legendary Tales offers a physics-based combat, skill progression, and a ton of different loot. You can party up with your friends and take on dungeons filled with monsters and treasures. If you love hack and slash action, this one is going to be for you. It's got a ton of physics fun inside of this, and a ton of different weaponry that you can craft up and make to make your experience even cooler and make your character completely unique and your own. This is available currently on PSVR 2 and PCVR. I'd really love this to make its way to Quest eventually, and it's just one of those games where you really get to feel like the character that you're building out, and you get to experience all of that badassery because, you know, you are that character at the end of the day. Next up, we have No Man's Sky. This is an absolute god tier VR game when it comes to VR, in my opinion, because it's one of those games that started off pretty damn rough, but has ended up in such an incredible place. I mean, literally they are still updating this game to this day, with the most recent update only coming out a couple of weeks ago as of making this video, and they just continually keep giving us content to keep bringing us back. This is one of the biggest open world games in virtual reality. No Man's Sky lets you explore an entire galaxy with friends, whether you're mining, dogfighting, or in space, or even if you want to just get creative and build a base. You get to explore that vast universe and do things that you just simply can't do in most other VR games. This is currently available on PSVR 2 and PCVR, although I will say I think the PSVR 2 is the ultimate edition of this game, because you have the addition of the haptics, and honestly just the way that the OLED screens sort of make this game shine, it just looks incredible. So if you own a PSVR 2, you simply must play this game. Next up, we have a bit of a VR classic, and that is Demeo. Now, this is another one of those games that I have literally spent hundreds of hours playing, and I bloody love it. It's kind of like giving you a very light taste of Dungeons and Dragons, but sprinkled in with just that classic board game aesthetic and feel that you're going to get throughout this game. If you love tabletop RPGs, Demeo brings that experience to VR. It's a dungeon crawler strategy game that lets you and your friends battle through different campaigns of unique character classes, and oh my god, it's just a blast every single time. It's completely procedural, so each time that you get in there in these different missions, you're going to have a different set of like problems that you're going to have to face, whether it be bombs in a different location, enemies coming in from a different location, or of course having to find that key to be able to escape the dungeon you're currently in. Each of the scenarios that you're going to go into is going to have a different boss battle and a different environmental sort of feel to each of the levels, which keeps you coming back for more. Next up, we have a twofer with the Arizona Sunshine series. This is 1 and 2 included in this because both of these are incredible co-op experiences when it comes just to get in with a friend and have a super dope zombie adventure. Now, Arizona Sunshine is a co-op zombie shooter with a fun mix of horror and action. They've really improved these games over time, even bringing out an updated version of the original Arizona Sunshine so that it falls in line visually with the second game, making it look even bloody better. This has got incredible gunplay and really fun and immersive environments, not to mention the fact that the zombies in this are solid as well as a ton of DLC that is out for the first game, and we're sure to be getting some more DLC for the second game in time. Both of these are absolute classics, and I really think that if you're looking for that apocalyptic feel to experience with a friend, this one is gonna be the experience for you. Next up is a bit of a cult classic movie that finally made its way into a VR game, and that is Starship Troopers. Now, this is one of those games that initially I was kind of not hyped from, but actually when I got into this game and experienced it for myself, it turned out to be an absolute friggin' blast. This is a really good time to get in with some friends and have like, not an arcadey shooter experience, but somewhere right between that sort of arcadey and pure action. If you're a Starship Troopers fan, then this is definitely going to be for you because it has a ton of fan service moments. Not only that, but it really puts you in the boots of like being a trooper and taking on waves of bugs in this intense co-op battle. It's currently available on Quest and PSVR 2, and I highly recommend that you give this a go. Next, we have an absolute banger with Dungeons of Eternity. I love this game. This is going to let you and a couple of your friends really get into that dungeon crawling style of things in a very different way from like Legendary Tales. This is a more fun, whimsical, and just light-hearted experience versus that. This is a dungeon crawler that truly shines in co-op, as Dungeon of Eternity lets you team up and fight through procedurally generated levels, solving puzzles, battling enemies, and of course taking down some badass bosses along the way. The cool thing about this is you're going to be getting keys throughout this that are going to unlock chests, getting that dope loot. Again, it's a bit of a grindy game where you're going to be able to unlock different weaponry, different outfits, and different cool things to sort of class out your character, whether you want to go into more magic stuff, whether you want to be more of a sword fighter, axe fighter, or bow fighter. It's completely down to you, or of course you can even mix those things up and have your own class that you've now made out into this epic dope character. Last up, we go into survival, and this is Green Hell. Oh my goodness, I was waiting so long for the co-op mode to come for this, and it has absolutely delivered in my opinion. Green Hell is an intense jungle survival experience where literally everything wants to kill you, and I mean everything. Have a drink, you might die. Eat some food, you might die. Walk through a bush, you might die. It's literally the most brutal experience you can have, but with friends it makes it so much more fun because you have, well, slightly less chance of dying and more chance of just seeing them pop their clogs in the most hilarious way, or of course working together to craft, hunt and manage your health against nature's challenges. And there you have it, guys. That is the list for today. I've really enjoyed putting this one together. It's actually been a reminder of just how many dope co-op games we have, because co-op is where VR really truly shines, in my opinion. It can make even a bad game good. So I have a ton more in the bank when it comes to good co-op games. Would you be interested in seeing a genre list where I do like a genre by genre co-op games so that you can really break down the kind of genre that you care about the most and find out the dope games within it, rather than me doing just sort of like a general dope co-op games like what I've done in this video? Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see that video. Other than that, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.